The interrogation room is cold, quiet, and unforgiving. Across the table sits a man trying hard to convince everyone he doesn't belong there. "Do you like guys? You homosexual?" The question comes blunt. "No, sir. I don't entertain that. I'm a man. I like women." That's Timothy Lee Floyd, 37 years old, defensive, agitated, trying to control the narrative before it even begins. But detectives aren't here to question his identity. They're here because a man is dead. And every road seems to lead right back to him. What Timothy doesn't fully grasp yet is that he's not being judged. He's being investigated for murder. Just hours earlier, 28-year-old Jonathan Spooner was found dead outside his own home. His body wasn't just left there. It was covered, wrapped in blankets and plastic, like someone had tried to hide what happened, but didn't get far enough. Jonathan wasn't the kind of person you'd expect this to happen to. He was educated, a Florida State University graduate. People described him the same way every time: kind, generous, impossible not to like. So when he suddenly disappeared around January the 22nd, 2020, people noticed. The last person expecting to hear from him was a co-worker. Jonathan had promised her a ride. He never showed up. Days passed. Calls went straight to voicemail. Messages stacked up with no reply. Then on January 25th, something changed. Jonathan's home security system triggered alerts. Police responded, expecting a break-in. Instead, they found him, dead. No signs of a robbery gone wrong. No obvious enemies. But one thing stood out immediately. Right across the street lived a man with a long criminal history. That man was Timothy Floyd. And when detectives started digging, the connection between the two became impossible to ignore. They had met just months earlier. Not through friends, not through work, through Facebook. A simple friend request turned into daily conversations. Messages turned into visits. Visits turned into something closer. Jonathan would give Timothy rides, help him financially, even stay over at his place. Timothy, in return, offered him somewhere to sleep, somewhere to shower, and at times, companionship. To Timothy, it was just a friendship, but to detectives, it was something more complicated. Especially when you consider this: Jonathan was openly gay. And Timothy? He was clearly uncomfortable with that idea, almost defensive about it, almost threatened by it. Inside the interrogation room, Timothy sticks to his story. They were just friends, nothing more. He insists on it over and over. But detectives aren't focused on labels. They're focused on evidence. And the evidence is starting to pile up. Surveillance footage shows Jonathan on the morning he disappeared. He's alive, driving, making stops. First at a convenience store, then McDonald's, then a bank. Everything seems normal. And Timothy? He admits he was with him. Says Jonathan was in a good mood. He had just gotten paid. Even bought him breakfast. Gave him money. Then dropped him off. And that's where Timothy says the story ends. Jonathan left. Alive. And Timothy never saw him again. But something doesn't add up. Because the next day, Jonathan's debit card is used. Not by Jonathan, by someone else. And somehow, that same debit card ends up at Timothy's house, on his porch. According to him, Jonathan dropped it. He claims he picked it up, held onto it, waiting for his friend to come back. But here's the problem. He never called him about it, never texted, never told anyone, He just kept it. Then comes the footage. A man at a store, using Jonathan's card, wearing a jacket. A bright, unmistakable yellow rain jacket. And that man? It's Timothy. He tries to deny it at first, then shifts, says he paid cash. But the footage doesn't lie. The records don't lie. And now neither does the pressure in that room. Detectives bring out more. Photos. Evidence pulled straight from his trash. The yellow rain jacket. Blue latex gloves. Even documents with his name on them. All in the same bag. All tying him closer to the crime. Still, he refuses. "I ain't got nothing to do with this," over and over again. Then they show him something else. A photo of his own couch. A stain soaked deep into the fabric. Dark, red, permanent. Something that can't be cleaned away. Something that tells a story. A story Timothy can no longer outrun. The room changes. The energy shifts. He's tired now, cornered, running out of space to hide. And sometimes, all it takes is one small moment to break a man. In this case, it was a cigarette. "Come on, Tim, just tell me what happened." Silence. Then finally, he starts talking. It happened that same morning, after breakfast, back at the house. Timothy says he was lying on the couch, relaxing, when suddenly Jonathan approached him, reached for him, touched him, and in that moment, something snapped. They started fighting, wrestling, struggling. Jonathan hit his head during the altercation, but it didn't stop there. Timothy grabbed a hammer and struck him again and again and again. What he describes as self-defense, the evidence describes differently. Jonathan suffered multiple blows to the head, severe, repeated, not a single moment of panic, but a sustained attack. After it was over, Timothy didn't call for help, didn't call the police, didn't try to save him. He panicked, wrapped the body, tried to contain the blood, dragged him, left him outside, covered him, as if hiding him would erase what happened. Then he cleaned up, threw away evidence, used Jonathan's debit card, and carried on like nothing happened. But the truth has a way of surfacing, and when it does, it brings everything with it. Timothy Floyd was later convicted, not of murder, but of manslaughter, along with theft and fraud. In March 2023, he was sentenced to life in prison, with a minimum of 30 years before he's even eligible for release. And Jonathan Spooner, a man described as kind, generous and trusting, lost his life to someone he tried to help, someone he let into his space, someone he thought was a friend. In the end, this wasn't just about violence. It was about fear, denial, and a moment where one man chose brutality over control. Because sometimes the most dangerous person in your life is the one you think you understand.